So in the last tutorial, we learned how to create some beats, creating some clips, and the one before that, we learned how to load sounds into Impulse. So this one, we're gonna learn how to do a little bit of further editing, okay? So this is the last thing I created. So I'm gonna get rid of this track because we never ended up doing anything on there. So we have a simple beat. Now, once I've created that clip, if I want to copy that to make modifications, then I can hold down my control button, okay? On the Mac, it's the option button, okay? And if I'm holding that down and I click on the track, I can drag it to another one, okay? And now it's not going to look any different because they are an exact copy of each other when I double click on them. But in this one, actually maybe the top one, I'll go in here and I'll get rid of the hi-hats. So I'm going to get my pencil tool and just draw those out of there. So now you'll see when I double click on here, it looks like that. And when I double click on the one underneath, I have a version with the hi-hats. So now we made a quick, simple variation. So I can play this one once. I'm going to get rid of my metronome. Okay, and then I can click on this one. And you notice as soon as I click on it, it waits till it gets to the end of the bar, and then it'll move up to the next one. So, okay. So that's a quick and easy way to sort of add things and make variations. Okay, so you know, I can go from here, I can make another copy, and maybe I want to do a little edit. I don't know what this is going to sound like, but. So you can make quick and easy edits in there. Okay, now I can also go in here and I can edit out, I can change the velocity of things, so it's how loud you're playing particular notes. Okay, so if I want those kick drums to be a little more subtle that I just made. Now, you notice that I have two things on here, so it's changing the velocity for everything. So if I just want to change it for one note, then I can click on that particular note and then turn that one down. Okay, so now I can play this and we'll hear a difference. So it's a little more subtle. So that's another simple edit that you can do. Okay, so I know how to copy clips. If I want to copy an entire track with my drum machine and any other audio effects I might have on it, then I can click on the track at the top. I can use my right mouse button to click and I get a menu, and you can do a few different things. You may or may not have some of these options depending on the version that you have. If I go duplicate, it's going to duplicate everything exactly the same. So I have all my clips and my drum machine is exactly the same. So why would I want to do something like that? Well, maybe I want to get rid of some sounds on one side and leave them on the other so that I can add effects. That might sound confusing, but maybe I just want to leave the snare drums to play on this track and everything else to play on here. Now, why would I want to do that? Because if I put an effect on a track, it's going to put it on every single sound, okay? So let's play with that. So if we look at these, they look exactly the same. On this side, I can go in here with my pencil tool and get rid of all the kick drums. Okay, so on this side I have the whole thing. Okay, but on this side now I'm going to get rid of the snare drums. So now on this side I only have the kicks. Okay, and I'll solo this one so we can hear this one. And here I just have that. So when I play them together, it sounds like it did originally, but I've got it pieced into two different sections. So now I can go onto this track and add an audio effect. So where do I find audio effects? They are in the same window as our instruments and our MIDI effects. So if this looks really confusing, you can just sort of uncollapse these, if that's a word. You can close it with the triangle and find audio effects, okay? If I go to audio effects, I have all sorts of things I can throw on my track. And the best way to get to know them is to throw them on there. Some might seem like they're not doing anything, and some will be very obvious. So play around with them, look them up. I'm going to take filter delay because that's pretty obvious when I throw it on. Now, just like impulse, I can just grab it and throw it onto a track. So if I want to put it on this track, I can drop it on there, or I can drop it here, or I can drop it down here. Okay, there's a number of ways of doing it. So I want to put it on the snare drum because this track has our snare drum. Okay, so I'll click down here again to go back. So now when I play it, you're going to hear the delay on the snare drum. Okay, and maybe it's a little loud. Okay, so you can go through and play with it. Now, just like anything else, if you click on the triangle next to it, there's a whole bunch of presets that can get you started. Okay, you'll see when I grab a preset and I drag it onto the top white bar here, you're gonna see everything, all the parameters move in there. So all these buttons and knobs and sliders and graphs and weird things, okay? And you can listen to what they're doing every time you add something on. So a short delay here. Okay, so you can play around and see what effect you want to put on there. You know, if we want to be more subtle, you could just maybe not do a delay. Maybe we want a reverb on it, so it sounds like there's a bit more space to it. Okay, you can do whatever you want. That is how you throw an audio effect on there, how to copy some things, how to copy your whole track. So that should get you started playing around with a few things. If you ever want to turn off an effect to see what it's doing, you can click on the button in the upper left-hand corner, and it's going to get rid of it, or not get rid of it, but it's going to bypass it. Okay, and then just feel free to go in there and see what all these things do. Okay, so I think that's it for this tutorial. I'll see you in a bit.